What's up, guys? This is Frantic, and welcome to the Sunday Show, where I go through the music I've been listening to this week in hopes of you enjoying it. Let's jump right in. So last week I decided to try something new, and while I liked what I did, I'm going to still kind of mix things up on the Sunday Show. That being said, I really enjoy talking about the music. Obviously, it's why I do the Sunday Show. So today we're going to delve into a concept album I recently discovered, which is Feathers and Flesh by Avatar of Sweden. So honestly, this is a really interesting album. I discovered Avatar about a year ago, I would say. I was listening to this random playlist and they came on with the song Hail the Apocalypse. And I really enjoyed that song, but tried to listen to the album and couldn't get into it. That's not to say I don't enjoy that album, I just haven't personally listened to it since. That being said, I did decide to go check out some of their other stuff because I listened to Hail the Apocalypse, the song, a lot, and I really enjoyed it and thought they have to have other good songs, right? Well, I discovered their latest album, Feathers and Flesh, which was released in 2016, and instantly fell in love. So with a new album, what I tend to do is listen to it a couple of times, get my overall feelings about it, and then go check out reviews. Now, I usually, like I've said before, don't tend to hear the lyrics too often. I get catchy songs, I'll sing them out loud, but sometimes I'm not really focused on what the words are saying. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. This particular album, I wasn't, because there's a decent chunk of harsh vocals. But when I started reading reviews and seeing that the album was indeed a concept album and it was talking about an owl trying to take over the world or something, colored me interested. So if you aren't familiar with Avatar, they're very interesting. I keep using that word, but I truly can't think of another way to describe them. They dress and act very interestingly. I really can't think of a better word. Musically, though, nu metal, N-U, if you're curious how that's spelled. Now, this might throw some people through a loop because when you think of nu metal, which is its roots, it's rap meets metal. Now, this is not that. If nu metal has evolved since the early 2000s when Disturbed and Drowning Pool were taking over the radio. Nu metal has done different things over time, and Avatar has hints of it, but they have a lot of influences in this album ranging from Iron Maiden to Halloween, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. So with that being said, let's jump into this album. I'm going to go through, not track by track, but kind of give you the overarching story, and hopefully you're interested enough to listen to it. The album starts off by introducing us to most of its characters, mainly the owl and the eagle. And the owl is basically the protagonist, but in reality, the owl and the eagle are just savages. Each character gets their own song. The owl gets House of the Eternal Hunt, and she is introduced as this character who is scared of change, and that's probably relatable by most of us. Eagle is introduced in The Eagle Has Landed. Well, the name's kind of a giveaway. Either way, the eagle is shown as this arrogant, character who just feels that they are the hero that the people deserve. And it's said very well in the lyrics in the chorus, ladies and gentlemen, the hero has landed. I'm here to save you all. So essentially, they're going to battle. And not in the sense of, oh, I'm better than you, but because they both kind of want to rule the area, and that's where I get the savage term from. And you might think of the owl, maybe isn't such a savage, but when you listen to the fourth track, you'll hear definitely that, Toothpick and Claw, sorry, that's the fifth track. Toothpick and Claw is the owl just going back out for the hunt and tearing apart things that she wants to kill. So they are both very, very dangerous and very scary and not the best to be leading or ruling, whatever you will. As the battle starts to rage, they start recruiting different people, and this is shown in the song For the Swarm when the owl approaches a hive of bees to say, I need people to fight for me. And the bees basically say, no, we can do much more as a group and don't see the purpose of a battle. We don't see it. We do what we do for the swarm, essentially. Followed by the very next track, The Fiddler's Farewell, we find out about a civilian casualty, the ant, as the grasshopper plays this farewell to him. And is very sad and mourns not only the loss of his friend, but also the loss of summer and the ever-coming cold that is winter. So at this point, the owl has failed in the fight. The battle ends so far, and the owl goes into hiding only to be later dragged out by the wolf, who kind of vicariously lives through the owl fighting. And so the owl has been scared and not sure what to do next, and so when the wolf pulls her out of hiding, we get into the final battle. Pray the Sun Away is the final battle. It is the final confrontation between the eagle and the owl, and we are also introduced to the bear very briefly, who is just a two-line character, not gonna lie, who just kind of comes up and says, your tears taste no different than the water of the river, which is interesting. I don't know too much of what that says about all this, but it's just, you two are no different. So, when you think of savages, what's the difference is kind of the question that's raised here. So by the end of all this, The Snow Lies Red is the next track, is the final confrontation's over. The eagle's been killed, the wolf has been killed, and the owl is mortally wounded. By the time all this is said and done, the ravens have arrived to start picking clean the dead bodies, and the owl is buried away in the sky, and that's the final track, Sky Burial. Now that was a quick little cliff notes, if you will, but it's a very interesting album, something that I haven't gotten to analyze too much, and that was kind of my synopsis of it, along with a little bit of help from the internet trying to figure out everything that was being said, because a decent chunk of this isn't truly said in the lyrics. You get to see who's speaking, but it doesn't truly tell you where everything is going. And it does help that Avatar has done an interview where they've discussed pretty much everything about this album for me to be able to say what I've said. But I personally think this album is super, super fun. It's a great listen through. And if you're interested in that story and you want to hear more, I would definitely recommend going straight through this album, track by track. It's a really fun listen. If I had to pick out specific tracks that you should definitely listen to, House of the Eternal Hunt introduces the owl, great track. Eagle Has Landed introduces the eagle, man is that a good song. And then also The Snow Lies Red. Now while that is the end of the confrontation, it's still a very, very good song, something I've been listening to more and more the more I've heard it. And honestly, every track on this album does its own unique style, it does its own thing, and it is a very good album in that sense, because each song can stand out but still be a part of the story without taking away from its listening experience. You don't need the other songs, except for, I guess, The Swarm, because it's such a short song. Alright guys, that about does it for me. Let me know what you think. Did you like this episode? What about last week? Did you like that one? It was a little different in length and in topic, but either way, let me know. Definitely want to keep doing these album concepts and analyzing different albums and songs, just to give you guys some more content and all kinds of stuff that I've been listening to. I really enjoy doing this, so if you have anything specifically you want me to cover, whether it's an album, a song, or somewhere in between, I'd absolutely love to do it. Leave your suggestions in the comments down below. As always, what have you guys been listening to this week? Always interested to hear where you stand on this stuff. And other than that, I'd hope you guys can like, give me some more comments like I said, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.